It's a great day. My name is Che Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the number one business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we are on a mission. And our mission really is to inspire, our mission is to empower, and our mission is to provide you, that's right, you, the hardworking entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And on this episode, we have the one and only Adebola, who's in the building. What's going on? She'll be talking about really not only how to unlock your potential, but how to live your best life using 5 growth strategies. How you doing today?
I'm well. Thank you for having me, Shay.
Thank you for being here. It's an honor and a privilege. And I'd like to start off with wondering, you talk about unlocking your potential. Can you tell us, what does that mean these days? I mean, because unlocking potential seems so broad. So we're going to be talking about it from this contact. When you use the word unlocking your potential, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, I really mean like understanding why you're here. What is your purpose here on earth? And who are you here to serve? Do you feel like a lot of people go through life not really discovering themselves, not really understanding the true meaning of why they're here? And reaching your highest potential is really about discovering your true self, your gifts, your talents, what makes you special, what makes you unique, and serving somebody with your gift.
And I'm curious, why do people struggle with just understanding their potential these days? What's the big struggle with that?
I think most people just really don't know who they are.
Mm.
Most people go through life. A lot of us, you know, want to make money, and a lot of people choose their careers based on making income versus really discovering who they are and what's their gift. Because it's truly in understanding what makes us special and why we're here that we can really reach our highest potential. We have to leverage our strengths in order to be able to reach our highest potential. So think people don't really take the time to discover who they are and say, what are my gifts and who can I serve with those gifts? And that's really where you can reach your highest potential. That's where you can find fulfillment. And that's really where you can live your best life.
I love it, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry, we're going to get into these 5 growth strategies, but she's talking about living your best life. You know, for you today, what does living your best life look like? What does that feel like these days for you?
I think for me, it's first of all, doing what I enjoy. So for me, I'm an epidemiologist. I'm a trained scientist. That's what I do full time. And I'm working in public health and public service and doing mostly my research work and regulatory work in women's health. That's my happy place. That's what I really enjoy. Every day I wake up feeling like I'm serving a purpose, I'm serving a population that I'm here to serve. But in addition to that, through my journey as a professional woman, I've had some challenges that kind of helped me pivot to a place where I'm also doing more beyond what I'm trained to do. I'm also doing a lot of work empowering other professional women to identify their gifts and also align their strengths with their professional goals. Because I'm around a lot of highly trained, highly educated women that sometimes tell you they're unhappy in their profession even though they've spent years training to do this. And I always tell them, you have to align who you are and your strengths with your professional goals. It cannot just be a job that you're going to every day to make money. It has to be part of who you are and why you're here.
Who you are and why you're here. Now, don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get into her a little bit of her background in a moment. I know some of you are curious, like, who is this person who's doing this speaking? But what holds people back these days? I like how you talked about you as a scientist, and it's kind of interesting. A scientist talking about personal development, and it's kind of oxymoron, right? And it's so cool, by the way. Normally, you can't find these folks. They're underneath like a steel door or something. You sliding papers underneath it, but no, she's here. Why do people struggle today just to live their best life and be fulfilled. I like how you use it. You didn't say happy, you use the word fulfill. So, two-part question. Number one, why do people struggle these days to be fulfilled? And what does fulfill mean on the other side? How that's so different than happy?
Yeah, I think a lot of people also, there's a lot of fear attached to everything we do in life. And we have to get to that other side of fear. Not only do we have to discover who we are and who we're here to serve, but we also have to be willing to break down those fears that we have on getting to that next level. So, a lot of one of my principles talks about conquering your fears. And I think it's one of the things that hold a lot of people back, just not being able to step into those fears and, you know, take charge and step and get to the other side where you're going to find fulfillment. With every single next level, there's fear attached to it. And we just have to be able to step into those fears in order for us to grow. It's a growth mindset. You have to be able to grow. And every level of growth requires stepping out of your comfort zone.
Mm, I love that. Now, a lot of folks watching right now that says, Shay, I didn't get a chance to look at her bio yet. I didn't get a chance to read this person. I mean, everyone else might know who she is, but I'm listening to her right now. She has, I'm in the kitchen cooking. And someone is working right now and is playing in the background. Like, Shay, take a moment. Let her explain tell us about who she is. So you know the question, what's your backstory that led you to what you're doing now? And what was that defining moment? You said, you know what? I'm now going to step into this all in. I'm not dibbling and dabbling. I'm be all in, helping folks really not only know their purpose, but live their purpose. So, what's your backstory? Who are you?
So my backstory is that originally I'm Nigerian. I came to this country when I was a teenager, navigated the educational system in undergrad and graduate school, got a doctorate degree in epidemiology, a subject area that I love. It's about understanding disease frequency and, where the disease is popping up, with in whom and when, and, what are the causes. And I totally enjoy, I do that in women's health, and I really have been doing that for over 10 years, and I love what I do. But in that process, as a minority female in a large organization, I mean, doing really important work, I struggled to be seen and to be heard and to feel my impact. I got to a point where I felt stretched but stuck, and I was feeling unfulfilled. And it was a weird feeling to me because I'm in public service and I'm in public health. And I didn't understand how I could be serving and yet be feeling stuck and feeling unfulfilled. So I had to take a pause. And also, one other thing was I was looking for mentors. I was looking for female mentors, preferably of color, that understood, that unique set of challenges that we have as Black women in the professional space. And I really couldn't find in my professional space. I couldn't really find. I had a lot of male mentors, but as a wife and a mom and a scientist in a huge organization, I struggled to navigate my career growth and my professional growth. And that to me was when I went on my personal development journey. I had to discover who I am as a person, what are my gifts, and then align that with my professional goals. And for me, I found myself when I paused and I did that, self reflection and personal development journey, which was over a couple of years. I came to realize that I am a leader, and I needed to go beyond being an individual contributor in my profession and step into those leadership roles. And that's what I've done. So, beyond just kind of being part of projects, I started taking on more leadership positions and not leadership roles. And those align really with my gifts. I'm more of somebody who is empathetic and somebody who has emotional intelligence. I'm kind of nurturing in I like to mentor other younger scientists. I'm very logical. I see the big picture, but I can also dive into the details. And as I was, reflecting on all of this gift and who I am, I realized that, I need to step into those leadership positions and not be fearful of what it's going to take, especially as a mom of three young children. As professional women, especially when we have families, we're always fearful of taking those risks, of some risk of responsibility. Not that we're not responsible, but we're afraid to be overwhelmed and, miss out on our children's lives. So we step away and we shy away from those leadership responsibilities. But we can't really grow if we don't take those risks. So it's in taking those risks that we learn and we grow. So that was my journey, but I do realize that a lot of women are stuck in that same place. And I wanted to use my experience to help support other women, other professional women that are also feeling that way, to give them some tools that they can use to move forward and to develop that growth mindset and face their fears in order to keep growing and keep reaching their potential by aligning their strengths with their professional goals. That's what I've done, so that's what I teach.
I love how you talked about that. Thanks for taking us behind the scenes and what you were thinking and feeling, by the way. And there's some folks that heard you talked about mentoring. It might be Shay. Before you get to the 5 growth strategies, we're going to get to that in just a second. Don't go anywhere. But they might be wondering, wow, Shay, what's one or two things she looks for when she's looking to bring a mentor and work with a mentor? And then on the other side, what does she look for when she's looking to work with a mentee? So two-part question. What are two
Mhm.
characteristics you look for? Because someone out there might be like, I need a mentor. I need a mentor. What does she look for? Okay, got it. She's going to share that with you. And then others of you, you got folks that are knocking at your door and they want you to mentor them. And you're like, well, how do I make a decision so I can spend my time with the right person? It's a loaded question, but she can handle it. Please take it away. What do you look for in a mentor? Two things. And what do you look for in a mentee?
Yes, so in a mentor, I really look for someone that's doing what I want to do. So someone that's already doing where I want to go, because then they can teach me how to do what they're doing. So that's one thing that I look for. And I look for people that are willing to mentor, that are willing to share their time. Because not everybody that's doing what you want to do is willing to give off their time to mentor somebody else. So it's they have the characteristics that I'm looking for. They are doing what I want to do, but they also have the willingness to embrace a mentee and serve in that capacity as a mentor. For mentees, I'm looking for somebody who's ambitious, who knows who they are, and who knows what they want, right? Because so you don't want somebody who's wasting my time too. You want someone who also has a vision for themselves and who is willing to do the work to get to that, whatever that next level is for them.
I love it. Tell us now about these growth strategies. I mean, I don't know how much time you have, but if you can take a couple of minutes and kind of what are the 5 growth strategies, and can you give us maybe one example of each one? Ladies and gentlemen, lean forward. This will change your life. I don't say that too often, but you only need one idea. Like, how many ideas do you need to change your life? Just one, because one good idea implemented is so much better than 1,000 ideas right now. Take it away, please. The 5 growth strategies.
Yeah, so the 5 growth principles that I have in my book, Empowered Women, the first one is really once you discover who you are. So my book starts with that whole idea of discovering who you are, discovering your gifts and your talents. But it's really the first one is thinking big. We have to be able to stretch our thinking to see beyond where we are now to where we want to go. So that whole thinking big is the first principle. And then the second one is conquering your fears. Like I said earlier, for every next level, there's a fear attached to it. And we have to recognize that. We have to acknowledge that fear in order to be able to then step into that fear. Being able to do the things that we're afraid of in order to get to our next level. The third principle is finding knowledge. For every next level of everything that we're going to achieve, there's some level of expertise that's needed. We need to be able to find the right knowledge in the right places. The fourth one is finding mentors. But when I say mentors, it's really 3 parts. There's mentors, that people that will mentor you, that are already doing what you want to do. But they're also your peers, people that are currently doing what you're doing. Those ones are there for accountability and support. And then there's the larger community that gives you visibility and gives you opportunity for growth. So even though I use the word mentors, I think of it in those 3 parts. Someone that's above you, a mentor, somebody that's on your level, a peer, and that bigger community. And the last one is really taking action, because I feel like the first two principles are really about mind shifting your mindset, but the last ones are about taking action. The knowledge and the mentors, and then the last part, which is taking consistent action, setting those smart goals, and taking consistent action to reach your goals.
I love it, by the way. And it's a perfect segue to a segment we have here that's called Today is My January 1st. Now, for those folks who tune in every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you wait for this moment to say these words. Today is my January 1st. And my question for those that are tuning in for the very first time, today is my January 1st, represents our personal mantra. It represents a fresh start. It means we get a do over. It means our past, no matter how dark and gloomy that past is or how bright and sunny that past is back there, the past no longer equals the future. And so my question for you on the other side is that when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what do you hear? What do you hear? What do you hear? And number two, what was a moment you had in your life where there was a setback, if any? Maybe your life's been perfect. And how did you bounce back from it?
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, really my setback was that period of my life in my professional life where I felt stuck. And in order for me to move beyond that, I needed to discover who I was. And taking all of those qualities that I discovered in myself, like my unique strengths, and aligning it with my goals. That's my January 1st. That's how I got here. That was what inspired my journey to write my book. That was what inspired my journey to start my organization, Empower Initiatives, that empower other professional women to identify their gifts, find their passion, in order for them to be able to have maximum impact and fulfill their potential. So that getting stuck, that place where I was getting stuck is really, and being able to move beyond that by discovering where I am is what's led me to where I am today. And I continue to set new goals for myself in that space, both in my professional space and in my business space. And I keep just taking it one step at a time, taking those consistent small steps towards my big goal.
But it's so hard to remain consistent. I mean, you might have heard this before. Consistency is the key. Consistency is the key. Consistency is the key. Yet, what do most people struggle with? Some of you, I'm probably alone. January 1st, you were going to be consistent. This was going to be the year. January 2nd, well, you kind of forgot all about it. So, what do you share to folks? Maybe one of your ideas or formulas for them just to be consistent and stay the course. I was talking to someone and they said, Shay, I'm going to the gym. I haven't lost any weight yet. I'm like, well, it's been 2 weeks. It took 20 plus years to get here. It doesn't happen. So what's your goal for folks, for them, in order for them to be consistent?
Well, Rome was not built in a day. So it's really about those small steps. I always tell folks to start with setting your goal and then break your goals down into steps and have a timeline attached to it. So, for example, in a year, I want to lose 20 pounds, whatever, if that's your goal, break it down into what do I want to lose every single month? And what is it that I'm going to do every single month? What is it am I going to do every single week? What am I going to do every single day? It's really a day by day. And once you conquer one day, then you can conquer the next day. And even if you miss a bit, just reset and just keep going. So it's just about keeping our goals at the back of everything we're trying to do and breaking those goals down. Because sometimes when you look at those big goals, they just seem so insurmountable. And it's in breaking them down into those small steps with timelines attached to it and just taking those small actions every single day. That's how I do it. Every single day, I have that list that I'm going to conquer in order to work towards whatever that big goal is.
And do you beat yourself up when you don't follow the list? I know sometimes I used to have my checklist and I have tasks. I have all the apps, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm like, oh my gosh. First, I wrote them down, but I didn't do anything. Or the other way is I never wrote them down and I felt bad in the night. How do you keep the mindset momentum going? What do you tell yourself when you get off track? How do you find yourself in a place where you don't beat yourself up? And ladies and gentlemen, maybe I'm only asking questions for myself, But on this journey to live my best life, I just beat myself up pretty bad. So my question is, do you have affirmations, and how do you just not beat yourself up when you don't do some of the things you know you should do?
Well, I mean, I think if we have goals and we have those steps, yes, we are going to sometimes, miss a bit. And that's okay. Especially as women, we have so many responsibilities. We're moms, we're wives, we're business women, we're professionals. There is no way you're going to follow every goal or every step perfectly. It's about the big picture. It's about knowing that you're moving towards that goal, even if it's slow movement, but you're moving. I don't beat myself up because at the end of the day, I know that even if I miss a bit, as long as I'm keep my eyes on the goal, keep my eyes on the ball, and like you said, you wrote it down. Sometimes you check it off, and there are times that you think you're going to hit five of it and you only hit one of it, and that's okay. We just move it to the next day, and we just keep going. It's really about the movement. Is the momentum is in the movement, and a lot of people will beat themselves up and then they will stop completely, and that's not going to work, because once you stop, it's really about just consistently taking that momentum, and even when you miss a bit, just reset and just keep going.
I love it. And one of my favorite questions I ask when we get time, and we do have time today, is what's one of the best pieces of advice you've ever been given? Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, I don't expect her to come off the mountain with the 10 commandments here. And she's had a lot of mentors, read so many books. I don't know how many videos she's watched in her lifetime, but too many to remember, I'm sure. But what's one of the best pieces of advice from any mentor you've ever been given that you want to share with us, the audience, and why?
Oh, wow. That's a lot of advice. Let me see. So, one that I take very personally is to find your niche, because you cannot be jack of all trade. You can't do it all. And I think it goes back to that, what I talked about earlier, and how I started my book in really finding your strengths. You really need to know who you are, discover your authentic self, and find your niche, because that's really where you maximize your potential. So that's one that I take pretty seriously, both in my professional life and in my business life. Who am I here to serve? I need to find my niche. Another one is that I also like is to just show up for yourself. At the end of the day, we only have one life to live. And I think about it as, at the end, when it's all said and done, what are they going to say about me? What did I accomplish here on earth? So I need to keep showing up for myself. My life is worth living, but not just worth living for myself, but also worth living for others. Why I'm here, my purpose, serving others. So I just show up for myself every day. Every day I show up for myself. Like you said, I have those goals, I check them off, and if I miss a bit, I keep going. But I know that I'm showing up for myself. And when it's all said and done, I would have lived my best life. I would have accomplished my purpose, my goal, and I would have served a whole bunch of people along the way.
Thanks for sharing. What do you do for fun when you're not out saving the world?
Well, I just came back from vacation with my sister. We went to the Bahamas. So we
Oh,
had a great
wow.
We had a great time. I love spending quality time with family. That's one thing that's really important to me. We talk about self care. For me, self care is spending time with my loved ones, quality time with my loved ones. So that's what I do for fun, whether we're going out to eat, whether we're going on vacation, whether we're just spending intimate time. As long as I'm spending time with the people that I love, the people that matter, that to me is what I do for fun.
Bahamas. What part of Bahamas? I love Bahamas, by the way. What part of Bahamas were you in?
NASA.
Beautiful place. Yeah, I've been there. As we come down the home stretch, two-part question. Number one, what type of clients is your firm looking to bring on now, if any? And number two, how can folks connect with you? How can they stay in this conversation over and beyond the time that you and I have right now?
So yeah, it's really professional women like me who are looking to maximize their potential, who are looking to understand what their goal is and how they can align their strengths with their professional goals. So we just help them understand, break down who you are. identifying those strengths, discovering those strengths, and then align them with that professional goal so that you can be fulfilled in your career. And life is not just about going to work to make money, but it's about service in order to find that fulfillment. So professional women in general are my clients. And what was that second question?
Second question was, how can people connect with you? What's the best way for them to connect with you to stay in the conversation?
Yes, yes. So yeah, I'm on Instagram, Dr. Adebola Ajao. That's my handle. You can find me there. I try to do some motivations on Mondays to keep us going. Thankful Thursdays because I think gratitude is everything. Gratitude is really shift our mindset. So I'm someone that really stays in that place of gratitude to help me to keep moving me forward. And you can find me on my website, empireinitiatives.net, and you can email me at empireinitiatives@gmail.com.
Ah, fantastic. Well, let me say thank you so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. I appreciate it. You can always make more money, but you can't make more time. So you're giving us the most precious resource you have right now, which is your time. So thank you for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show.
Thanks, Jay, for having me. I really appreciate it. It's been nice spending time with you today.
Thank you. And thank you to viewers. Thank you for tuning in. Without you, there is no show. And I never get tired of sharing with you every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time that you're amazing. Yes, you're incredible. Yes, you're someone who's making a huge difference in the world. And no matter what's going on in your life and or your business, I believe that today is your January 1st. Today is your January 1st. Today, your best is yet to come. So with that being said, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. My name hasn't changed. It's still Che Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. And we'll make some good things how we connect again next time. God bless. Thanks a lot. Adebola. Did I get it right? Yes,
Yes, you did.
Adebola. Yay, I got it right. All right, let's jump. We out of here. Peace.
Thank you.